So here's the thing. We all tried to warn you that Donald Trump was a racist. We've been saying it since he came down those gold escalators. And everyone was just like, no, but he hangs around with black folks. He has black friends, so he couldn't possibly be a racist. And then this weekend happened. Let's get into it. So during Donald Trump's first term, everyone tried to tell us that he wasn't a racist. It didn't matter that he had been sued, him and his father, for their housing discrimination policies in New York City that had little outlines that said, basically, don't rent to coloreds. It didn't matter that he took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of Black children, now known as the Exonerated Five. No, none of those things mattered. It didn't matter in his first term where Donald Trump referred to African nations as shithole countries and instituted a Muslim ban. No, he was still not seen as a racist. And so now, in his second term, Donald Trump has done the most blatant thing possible, which is rescind the 1965 Equal Employment Order that came from Lyndon B. Johnson, and has also made it so, guess what, folks? Segregation can be great again. Donald Trump is, in fact, the new George Wallace. If you all remember, George Wallace was governor in Alabama in 1963. And on his inauguration day, he said this, quote, "I draw the line in the dust and toss the gauntlet before the feet of tyranny. And I say, segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever." And what the Trump administration is saying with this new action is segregation again. It is extraordinary where we find ourselves, but honestly, if you were paying attention, we can't say we didn't warn you. But before we dive in further to this mess, dear friends, please take a second to like and share this video as well as this channel. And don't forget to subscribe. Help the fairies in the algorithms find this channel into everyone's streams. So like, subscribe, and share. Appreciate you. Now back to our regularly scheduled racist messaging. Folks, so here's the thing. We understand now why Donald Trump has been so obsessed with canceling the federal workforce, with absolutely wiping out tens of thousands of jobs. And if it wasn't clear to you before, when Donald Trump and his sycophants referred to federal workers as, quote, the enemy from within, I want you to understand that the racism is always front and center. And Ali Velshi on MSNBC lays it out so clearly in this clip.
I want to zoom in on one important aspect of the cuts to the federal workforce that the Trump administration is beginning to carry out, and that is the jobs themselves and the people who hold them. The federal workforce is the largest employer in the nation, and federal data shows that Black Americans who have historically found greater equity in the public sector compared to the private sector will disproportionately bear the brunt of Trump's effort to gut the federal workforce. Black people are more likely to be employed by state or federal government than any other demographic. According to a Center for American Progress analysis of 2022 data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, approximately 1 in 5 black workers are employed in the public sector. That's not just the federal government. That's at all levels of government. And that's not an accident. The history of civil rights and the civil service are actually deeply intertwined. As early as the 1840s, some government agencies began hiring black workers decades before slavery was abolished. The United States Postal Service was one of the earliest places that black people could find work and climb the ranks, and opportunities expanded significantly after the Civil War during Reconstruction. Between 1916 and 1970, some 6 million black Americans left the rural South for the urban North to escape Jim Crow laws and to find greater economic opportunity and stability. Federal jobs were accessible through merit-based civil service exams and somewhat shielded black workers from rampant discrimination. Certainly not entirely, but it was better than the alternative in many cases. Jobs within the federal government have throughout history and today offered relatively good pay, health care, retirement security, job security, and stronger workplace protections compared to the private sector. And all of these factors made the civil service a crucial part of creating and sustaining America's black middle class.
It all makes sense, right? These are not the haphazard moves of some crazed madman, as many in the media have wanted to portray Donald Trump. These are the strategic actions of a rabid racist. So, what is Donald Trump implementing? Oh, well, we are back to segregated facilities. That's right. Segregated facilities are no longer explicitly banned in federal contracts. We are back, folks, to Jim Crow. And this is not a joke. It's actually what the plan has always been. The attacks on DEI, on diversity, equity, and inclusion, were always about denying Black people, people of color, women, and other marginalized communities opportunities and access. But they use the term DEI because I guess Jim Crow is just, too much of a lightning rod. But the reality is that this is now where we are, not where we're headed, but where we have arrived, where government contractors will no longer be excluded from those contracts if they have records of discrimination or bias. While we may still have federal laws that are on the books to ensure that segregation doesn't come full-fledged back into America, the message is clear. The symbolism is clear. Segregation is here again. So, what are the 92% doing? The faithful 92% of Black women who gave their all for 107 days to try and get Vice President Kamala Harris elected? The 92% of Black women that are the base of the Democratic Party who have consistently showed up? Well, here's one hot take that one of the 92% have, and I want you to take a listen.
So what's your take?
Bring back segregation.
100% disagree.
Dead at bring it back. I want to know where I'm not welcome, okay? Put them signs back up. Colors only, whites only. Let's do it, all right? Rip the Band-Aid off. Especially for a restaurant. Are you kidding me? Whites only? What do I want to do in there? What they got? Mashed potatoes? Mayonnaise? Hot dogs? Colors only? We got seasoning. Turmeric. Paprika.
Okay, I like this.
Okay.
You were saying that the Black excellence.
Absolutely.
The segregation is to get
the colored excellence.
Okay.
Okay. What's the playlist in the whites only spot? They playing Carrie Underwood and Kid Rock. We playing Babyface and Diggable Planets. Ain't no overhead lighting. What are you talking about?
Wait, where am I going?
Colors.
Hell yeah.
Look at his hair.
Let me tell you something. When that clip was initially played, I was like, what is she talking about? She sounds crazy. And then the longer she went on, the more sense that she made. Because the reality is that during segregation, Black businesses thrived because Black money was circulating among Black people. The argument that she was offering in Hot Takes is that Black buying power is in the trillions of dollars now. So if your message is you don't want our money, then we're good. We'll just circulate it amongst ourselves. And it was one of the most brilliant hot takes I've seen as of yet. As for what else the Black community is doing while Donald Trump is ushering back in segregation, well, take a look at this. Everything that Donald Trump is doing is trying to provoke a response from Black America. My belief is that he wants a response. He wants us in the streets so that he can unleash the tanks and unleash the guns and also roll out martial law. But the reality is that Black people are no longer interested in having our bodies used as a battering ram for change. Instead of us putting our bodies on the line, we're going to be like the Duchess of Sussex, putting our bodies in some hot water, in a bath, line dancing, gardening. We'll boycott, but are you going to find us in the streets? Mm-mm. We tried to warn you. It's your turn now. That is it for me today, dear friends, on this very new edition of the Danielle Moodie Show Weekends. We are trying something new here, and I'd love to hear from you as we put out new content and videos. But my hope is that Fridays and Saturdays, you will not be without the Danielle Moodie Show, as these videos will keep you company on your weekend. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. As always, dear friends, power to the people, and to all the people power. Get woke, stay sane, and in these extraordinarily dangerous times, dear friends, do stay safe.